Okay, young scholars, it is time for your final. I'm sure you've missed me a bunch. I've missed you, even though I've been pretty busy here, but definitely looking forward to the holidays and then starting the new year fresh and ready to go. Semester number two of your senior year. But for now, let's talk about your final. And in this final, you're going to be doing a little bit of a reflective writing, like 1, 2 pages maximum. And I'm going to go through a few slides here to kind of get your mindset in the right way and to prep you for this final writing. And in this writing, we're going to discuss how can you think more effectively? And namely, we're going to be talking about a big vocabulary word, one that you might have heard a little bit. Meta, Facebook uses the beginning of this word, but that word is metacognition, and it means, or excuse me. First, we'll address what is it? How can we use it effectively? How can we use metacognition to make our lives better? Metacognition is the awareness or the analysis of one's own learning or thinking process. Namely, if we can be more aware of the ways that we think, our own biases, strengths, weaknesses, and how we learn, we could do both of those things, think and learn more effectively. Why? Why should we be thinking and talking about metacognition? Making accurate and reliable metacognitive judgments enables you, the learner, and me to allocate our study time more effectively, mostly to the topics that we need further studying, instead of wasting time on topics that have been mastered or that are unnecessary, or stopping our studying really before we're done and before we've mastered the content or knowledge or skill at hand. So first we'll start with how do we do this? How do we think about our thinking? And the first thing that you should know is believe it or not, you are in control of the thoughts that fly through your brain at light speed. It might not seem like we are, as we are prone to daydreaming or worries or stressing or anxiety, but it's all about learning to recognize, shape, and direct those thoughts. One of my favorite strategies is meditation. Meditation is slowing down and being in control of what's going through your brain. Good news is that our brains are wired for growth. Our brains love learning. I believe that you've all heard about the growth mindset. Probably an English teacher at a lower grade. You've probably like, oh boy, growth mindset. But here's the deal: it's real. It really does work. If you approach a task or skill with the proper mindset, you're far more likely to improve your performance. You need to practice with a specific goal in mind. Not just, I'm going to write an essay, but I'm going to write an essay in which I practice these essential skills. This is called deliberate practice. And if you wanted to read the book Outliers, you would learn much about deliberate practice. First step is practice recognizing the things that you don't understand. At the end of a challenging task or at the end of a semester or a class, take some time to ask yourself questions. What was the most confusing or what was the most difficult thing about the material or skills that we explored today? Then reflect. Higher order thinking skills are fostered when you learn to recognize your own cognitive growth or your own cognitive weaknesses. Think to yourself, how has my thinking changed? I used to think blank, now I think blank. Why? Why did it change? Did I learn something new? Did I get lazy? Etc. Another way to do that, I mentioned meditation, but you could keep a journal. The process of writing in a journal, reflective writing, forces you to reflect on the events, the learning, the struggles of the day, and it further imprints and advances that learning in your brain. Your journal might have a specific purpose, like What did I learn today? Or perhaps you just sit down in the morning or at the end of each day and just unload whatever's on your mind. Either way, it's going to work. Another way to be metacognitively aware is to think about your own biases. Open mindedness is essential to learning and to improving your thinking. If you tend to look at life through a particular lens or viewpoint, take care and time to purposefully take other points of view. Now, I took all this information from a book about teaching and about thinking, and we can think more effectively when we know the types of thinking that we do, when we know our strengths and when we know our weaknesses. And these eight thinking moves, the book likes to call them, and I like it, are kind of the eight essential ways or tasks that our brains do on a day to day basis. We observe closely and describe what's there. We build explanations and interpretations. We reason with evidence. We make connections. We consider different viewpoints and perspectives. We capture the heart of an idea or a concept and we form conclusions about it. We wonder and we ask questions. And we think deeply to uncover complexity and go below the surface of things. If you look through this list, you'll probably notice a few that you are good at and you might notice a couple where you could improve. And that's the beginning of thinking metacognitively. These are kind of the eight most common ways that our brain thinks, learns, and organizes, but there are others as well. We identify patterns and make generalizations. Think math. We generate possibilities and alternatives. Think brainstorming. We evaluate evidence, arguments, and actions. We formulate plans. We monitor actions. We identify claims, assumption. We identify bias in other people. And when we think about ourselves, we clarify our own priorities, the conditions under which we live, and we clarify what we know and what we don't know. So again, just going through this list, thinking, what do I do well? Where could I grow? And then tackle this assignment. Let's reflect. It's the end of semester one. How have you done? I want you to create a Google document and to complete a 1 to 2 page writing in which you think and write about the following questions. One, how do you feel about your learning and your work during this semester? Two, what did you learn about yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, etc., as you worked this semester? You could write about our ERWC class, or you could write about your classes as a whole. Three, compare. How do you work compared to others? How do you work differently from them? How do you work similarly? And then give yourself a goal for semester two. One thing I would like to improve upon is blank, and then tell me why. Why have you chosen this thing? Give me a little evidence, a little explanation there. That's it. Those four questions. I would go a paragraph or two for each of them. And in your writing, try to use some words and ideas from these notes that we've just covered. Great work this semester, young scholars. I've missed you these past month or so, but I'll be back in January, and we're going to do some great work second semester. Have a wonderful holidays. Have a happy New Year, and I will see you all soon.